friends, it's Carolyn Zook here with Zook Stitch, and today is Saturday, February 12th, 2022. Welcome to my channel about cross stitch. I'm so glad that you're here spending part of your day or your evening with me. And if you're new, thanks for stopping by and checking out my channel. I hope you will like what you have to see here today. We have a lot to cover today, actually, which is really fun and exciting. I think you'll get a lot of really great information out of today's video. So first up, really quick week recap. Last weekend I ended up having a migraine. I had one when I was filming, and it just kind of got worse progressively from there. So I didn't get a whole lot of work done around the house last weekend. I'm feeling much better. They happen once a month or so. I think mine are triggered by changes in the weather or the barometric pressure, I think. So that wasn't too fun, but we got through it. And then starting on Monday, we went back to in-person classes. So we just finished week 4 of our semester, and week 4 we were in person. Everything went well. I think I said last week, but we have to wear N95 masks when we're on campus. So I feel very safe teaching. The only real difference is now I have to learn the students' names, because when we were on Zoom, their names were on their little square. So I knew who everyone was. And so now I sort of feel like I'm starting over again, but it was a really great week. I am tired, like readapting again to the commute and making my lunch and all that good stuff that comes with being in person. But otherwise, it was a really great week. And it's just really fun to be on campus and to have that kind of student energy around you all the time, which is really fun. So it was a good week overall. A lot of questions on last week's video, so thank you so much for putting down your questions and ideas and conversations that we can have. I really enjoy answering your questions, or if I don't know the answer, we can maybe come up with something together as a community of stitchers and help each other out. So I appreciate all your questions and all your comments. Audrey, so last week I showed my my corner gauge. Here it is. Sitting out my corner gauge. I showed it last week. I also mentioned you can use, this is to help you know where to start. If you want to start in the corner on a cross stitch piece, you can use this as your gauge. And this one is specifically designed for cross stitchers. It's hard to see, but there's the square itself is 3 inches, and then there's a 2-inch mark and a 1-inch mark, depending on how big you want your borders to be. I also mentioned that you can use a Post-it note, because a Post-it note is also 3 inches square. So if you don't have this or don't want to buy this, you can use a Post-it note. It works just fine. Audrey, who is a quilter, said that actually, she said, well, I have in my quilting supplies, I have something very similar. She said, I have a 2.5 and a 4-inch, plastic square ruler for quilting. So that could work just as well also. So thank you, Audrey, for letting us know that some of us might already have something in our stash that will work. So if you're a quilter or a sewer, you might have something like this already in your stash, in your supplies. So maybe take a look there. So thank you, Audrey. That's a really good tip for us. Georgie asked me, I think I showed this last week, what's in your stitching bag? This is my little stitching bag. She said, we want to see what's in it. What's in your stitching bag? So I thought that was a really great question, and I'd love to show you. So this, of course, is my Garan. This is one of the mini bags that Garan does for Ronnie's birthday. They've done it the past couple years, I know. I'm not sure if they we'll do it again this year, but they always do this, and this is to raise money for St. Jude Children's Hospital, which is a very important, they do great work, but it's very important to Gary and Ronnie. And you can see the inside is the happy birthday. And so I got this, I think the first year they did it, I got this, and this is my little stitching bag. This actually is always in it. My corner gauge is in it, but I'd like to show you what else I keep in it. This is my little Ort container. It's kind of full right now of Orts. I have to clean it out. But when it's not full, it does lay pretty flat. And so I just pull this out, open it up, and set it on the table or the couch beside me. And as I'm stitching, I just put my little Orts in there. This is Garan Toten Bags. Garan Toten Bags makes these as well. So That is another Garon product. I often will have, I'll show you, I often have a needle minder or two, use the magnets on here. So if I have a piece without a needle minder on it, I can just grab this one. This is my one from the Acorns gathering that I went to a couple weeks ago. I have my stitching glasses. These are readers. I don't actually have to wear glasses anymore because I had eye surgery 2 years ago now. Yeah, a lot of you were with me through that. Yeah, it's been almost 2 years. So it was right before the pandemic shut down everything. I got one eye done, and then because they only do one eye at a time, and then my second eye was done literally on a Friday, and then that Monday they shut down all elective surgery. So I would have been going a very long time with eyes of 2 different strengths, which is not good. So I have had glaucoma surgery and cataract surgery so far. So these are readers. They are what I use for computer work or reading. These are a stronger version of my readers that I use for stitching. These are, I think, 3.5, and these are 2.5. So I just switch out my readers when I'm stitching, so I keep those in there always. And then I have my scissors, my Dovo scissors that I use with the little scissor fob on it. And then I kind of need to clean this up. This is a whole bunch of, okay, so this is it. I have a fistful of stuff here. I have tweezers. These aren't the sharpest ones. Actually, the ends are kind of blunt, but they help me pull out cat hair from my projects is normally what I use it for. So I have those. I have a, this is kind of getting twisted, but I have a, what do you call these? Like a picker outer. So when I have to frog something, I can use this. This works nicely to kind of get in there and frog it. That little thing is, but it's really cute. So I have one of those just in case. It comes in handy. I have some Krynic number 26 needles. I think I tried them once. I think the Krynic is just the brand. I don't know that they're actually made for using Krynic because the eye is not that big. So I think these are just regular tapestry needles, but Krynic brand. I don't know why they're in here because I don't use them for Krynic, so I need to move them to upstairs. I have my seam ripper, just in case I need it for big frogging areas. This one's fine, but the cap comes off super easily. I bought another one recently that's a bit smaller than this, but for now, this is what I have. And then I have 3 little tubes of different needles. So you can see I just took a permanent marker and wrote on there. So I have my 28s, which I hardly ever use because I don't stitch on that high of fabric. So these are really neat. I think these are in my Amazon storefront, which is linked down below if you are interested in these. If not, I'll make sure that they're added to it. They're magnetic and they hold your needles. And so all you do is you tip upside down, grab the needle you need, tip it back up, put the cap on. I like them. They're small. They don't take up a lot of space. They're easy to grab the needles out of and they're easy to put it back in. I usually put the needle in and then just give it a little shake to make sure it kind of gets down to the magnetic part. But I have one for 28s, which I hardly ever use. I have one for 26s, which I use a lot. And I have one for 24s, which I also use a lot. Sometimes even when I don't need to use 24s, I just like it. They're so easy to thread. And 24s is what I use when I do Krynic because the eyes are big enough that I can get the Krynic through. And then in one of these, so this is the 26 size needle, I have my Snag Nabbit, which is a great tool if you haven't heard of it or seen it. It's very sharp on one end and the other end is kind of rough. You can see that. And so when you have like a thread that pokes through to the right side of the fabric that you're stitching on and you don't want it there, sometimes it's hard to just push it down with the needle. So you take this, so you if this is the top of your fabric, if my hand is the top of your fabric, you put the needle part, the sharp part down as though you're stitching and you just pull it through and this rough part will kind of capture that thread and pull it back to the back side of your fabric. You might have to do it a couple of times depending on how if you catch it or not. But I love this tool, and actually I just used it. I had a thing over here on my shirt, and I just used this and pulled it to the wrong side. Right before this video, I was like, oh, there's something like a thread that had come to the front side. So I just used this, pull it through. So it's just a very handy tool. They are like $2 or less. So I have a couple of them, and I really like. They're called Snag Nabbits, and I'll try to find them and link them on my Amazon storefront as well if I can find them on there. But I think 123 Stitch also sells them. So that's what I keep in my stitchy bag. This is the same bag I use for my everyday stitching. I don't move these supplies from project to project because I am changing projects so frequently. So this is just my stitching bag. And I just pull it out, and it works really well for me. And so it's just kind of small, and so this is what I use. So hopefully that was fun. Hopefully you found some new products that maybe you didn't think of to put in your stitchy bag. I usually will have a pencil case with some highlighters and stuff in it that I use at the end of my stitching session to mark down in my planner what I stitched on, but that's not necessarily in here. All right, so thank you, Georgie, for that question. That was really fun to show you what was in my stitching bag. Lynette had a tip. So last week I showed my progress. My stash just fell down. I showed my progress on Autumn at Hawk Run Hollow, block 3, which is this checkerboard. And she said, when I do the checkerboard, I work it on the diagonal, right? And that's a really fun way to do it. And I did notice that I could do that somewhat on this one. I mean, I didn't intend to do it that way, Lynette, but I did notice that I could do it somewhat but these horses kept getting in the way. But I guess you kind of need the horses here. So I would get into like my groove of a pattern, like you can see this and this way. And then all of a sudden I would hit the horse's rear end. Right, so this one was a little trickier to do, but all those white spaces you see are now the green part that I have to fill in, so I think that will go a lot faster. So I don't really have to count, I don't really have to look at my pattern, I just have to fill in the green part. So I think that will go a bit faster. And that's another look at I didn't work on it this week. But if you missed last week's video, there's the progress I made. So thank you, Lynette. That is another fun way to think about doing when you have a checkerboard pattern or like a brick house or something, to think about doing it on the diagonal. Dawn, my friend Dawn, who has a little grandson named Walter who just turned 1, he's adorable, asked me, I was showing all these funky flowers last week from By the Bay Needle Arts, and she asked, well, how big are they? You didn't tell us how big they are. And I didn't, I forgot. So thank you, Dawn. Okay, so these are all 42 by 70. Now, keep in mind, some go horizontal and some go vertical, but they're all the same size. It's just width versus height, right? So this one, which is the horizontal one, would be 70 wide by 42 high, and this one would be 70 high by 42 wide. And so they all fit together really nicely. And like I mentioned last week, I bought all of them because Jan and I are starting these May 1. You don't have to buy them all. You can pick and choose which ones you like, your favorite ones, ones that are meaningful to you, however you want to do it. But if you buy at least 3 of them, she will send you a PDF, email you a PDF of some layout options for you to take a look at. So that that's another really fun thing that will be coming up in May. I'll link her down below. In fact, let me write a note to myself just so I don't forget. So we'll link By the Bay. And we'll be starting Funky Flowers on May 1 for May Day. All right. Yannicka asked a really good question that I did not have a very good answer for. Yannicka asked, so how do you keep track of your magazine patterns, the ones that you want to stitch? My answer was, I really don't. I have those magazine holders up in my craft room. I will put a little sticky flag on the charts that I want to stitch. And they go on the shelf. Now, one of the things, Danica, if you don't already know, I run a Facebook group with my good friend Robin of Bird's Eye Stitches. I'll also link her down below. Called Magazine Monthly Challenge. And so this group, you don't have to just do magazine pieces, but the intent was we all have these magazines sitting on our shelves collecting dust. And so we do little challenges every month. We give you a theme and acrostic. And what I try to do is most month, I try to make the theme be a magazine piece. And so that will force me to kind of look through my magazines and see what I have and be able to start some of those pieces that I've had flags sitting on my shelf. So that's one thing you can do. You can join us. The link is always in the down below, but also I always have it at the end card. It's called Magazine Monthly Cross Stitch Challenge, and it's a group on Facebook. And it's really a lot of fun, and we have pop-up challenges and that type of thing, so it is a lot of fun. I've heard of people who keep like an Excel spreadsheet of just the patterns that they want to stitch. So when they flag them, they'll input them in a spreadsheet. And so then that way, that's really nice because then you know what issue it was, what year, what month it was. Because a lot of times for me, and you would think I would have a spreadsheet with how much I love to organize and plan, but I really don't. I might get to that point the more magazines that I get because my collection is growing. I have 2 subscriptions. One is every other month, that's just cross stitch, and one is every month, which is the World of Cross Stitching. So, you know, the numbers are getting up there. I do know some people, so they would keep track in their spreadsheet so they could say, oh, here's a piece that I've wanted to start, and it's a Valentine's Day piece, for example. And so you'll know right away what issue it's in. Me, I just look through, my, my magazines and see which ones I marked and that type of thing. So if anybody has a better system or a system that they use for keeping track of their magazine patterns that they want to stitch, can you let us know down below? And we'll talk about it a little more next week. But Yannicka, that's the best I have for you. But I'd love to hear how anybody else keeps track of their magazine patterns that they want to stitch. So thank you, Yannicka, for that question. And then last but certainly not least, Hedon One, that's the YouTube name. Hedon One let us know. So last week I showed you the Yarn Tree cross stitch fabric calculator. So we went through that. Hedon One said, "Did you know that Fat Quarter Shop also has one? It's brand new. It's just come out maybe a couple of weeks ago." So I went on there. I did not know that. So thank you for that information. So I went on there to check it out, and it's another really great tool for you. So I did another really quick video clip that I'll insert here in just a minute, and you can see which one works for you, or depending on what site you're on, you can use either one. So I'll insert that video clip here right now with another look at another cross-stitch fabric calculator. Thanks to, I think it's, the username is Hedon One. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. But we will take a look at this on Fat Quarter Shop. Has a brand new cross-stitch calculator for fabric as well. So this is just the home page. You can see up here, fatquartershop.com. And what I did is I went over here to cross stitch and I click on cross stitch. So you'll see here we have all sorts of goodies. You can search by any of these categories, but if you scroll down a little bit to quick links, you'll see cross stitch calculator is here, the last option under quick links. So I click on that, and we come up with this really nice, clear, easy to use calculator. So you type in your stitch count. So I'm going to use, for an example, I'll use one of the funky flowers, for example, since we just talked about that. So the funky flowers, the one I'm looking at is one of the horizontal ones. So that means that it's going to be 70 inches wide, and the height is, or not inches, goodness gracious, they are not that big. 70 stitches wide by 42 stitches high. So you just type those in, and then you can see that they have it organized here by, are you going to stitch on Eda or linen or even weave? So which one do you want? For Funky Flowers, they recommend a 28 count lambswool linen. So we'll just go with that. We'll just say we're going to do it on 28 count. And you can see down here with the asterisk that it says this calculations assumes stitching over 2 threads. So if you are actually, say you want to do it on 28 count over 1 thread, what I would do is I would come over here to Ada and click on the 14 count. If you're to do 28 count over 1, just click on 14 count Ada, and that will give you the over 1 dimensions. But for this example, we're going to do the 28 count lambswool linen that Funky Flowers calls for. Now, how many inches do we want on each side for border? I usually go with 3. I know I can always decrease that if needed, but that's all you have to do. You just type in your stitch count, what fabric you want, how much border you want, and hit calculate. And then it will show you the stitch area is going to be a 5 by 3. And so they recommend cutting your fabric 11 by 9. And Kimberly is suggesting you use a 26 size needle for 28 count fabric and that you use 2 strands of for cross stitch on 28 count. Okay, so let's look now real quick and see how it compares to if we said 14 count. So we just switched it. You can see our old numbers are still in here. We still want 3 inches border. So let's hit calculate and see what happens. Nothing, because it's exactly the same. What if we wanted to make a pillow? What if we went to 10 count? And we hit calculate. And we can see here, we changed. Our fabric needs to be 13 by 10 and a quarter, and a 24 size needle and 4 strands of cross stitch flosses if you're doing like a 10 count. So I hope you found that helpful. And thank you again to Heaton1 on Flosstube for showing us this other cross stitch calculator. So you can use this one, you can use the one from Yarn Tree. Both do exactly the same thing. It just depends on maybe what site you're looking at. So I hope that was helpful. Thank you. So I hope you found that helpful. I like that one too. That one's a bit more streamlined, I feel like, than the Yarn Tree one. But both work the same way and both will give you accurate information. So thank you so much, Eden, for sending that our way and making us aware. I know that there are probably others out there also, but it's nice to have a couple different options. All right, let's get into the actual stitching. All right. So first up of the whips, this is not a whip. I haven't even started yet, and I feel like my table is already a mess. So forgive my reaching here for a couple. Okay, so I am participating in something called Stitch the Winter Olympics. And you may have heard of others working on this month. This is by the Naptime Stitcher. And it's just hashtag Stitch the Winter Olympics. She gave you a prompt for every day of the Olympics. And you set your own goals. You set your own piece. So I have been working my way through this, which has been really a lot of fun this month. And a lot of them fit anyway. So it was really fun to do. So the first prompt of this week was something related to winter. Something related to winter. So I pulled out Christmas Dinner. This is by Stardust. This is from late 90s, early 2000s. This is actually still available on some sites. So I will, okay, let me write down link Christmas Dinner. I'll write that down too. So if you want to, it's available. If you want to pick it up. And they have other ones too. I was looking through them last night because I'm looking for a specific one that I can't really find, but they have beautiful, beautiful. They take these paintings and turn them into cross stitch. I think this one is going to be just gorgeous. And I am working in the background right now. So I am right about here. I haven't done anything in the foreground. Oops. I haven't done anything in the foreground. my elbow hit something and my computer was asking me to do something. That's why I said whoops. So I'm working back here. I'm almost done with page 1 of the background. And this is my first piece that I have used silks on. So it's mostly DMC, but there are some silks that are called for. And this is on a 32 count white linen. So this was, I've worked on this a couple of times in this past week. But let's look at it first and I'll show you. Okay, so this is where I'm at. Look at that. So I worked a lot in here. So this is, we're carrying over, this is into the second page. On the first page, I still have to fill in some up here in the sky. But most of it is done already. Last night I worked, so this was something related to winter, but this is also my acrostic monthly theme, which is food, because this is called Christmas dinner. They're on their way to Christmas dinner. And then I worked on it last night for something by a pair of designers. So Stardust is a pair of designers. And I also, in the acrostic, which is yummy, I also use this for M for mountains. So this is where I still have to go back and pull this part out. You can see it's a little bit darker. I accidentally used 2 threads instead of 1 for half cross stitch. This area was a total nightmare for me. I'm still off somewhere. I don't know where I'm off. I don't think it really matters. I did put in a little bit of Krynic last night. You can't really tell. It's white Krynic. And I don't know. You just can't really tell much. And there will be beads. You'll see a lot of blank spaces. That's where beads will go into. But I will do that at the end. And so last night, I just did this tree. I love it. I love how it turned out, but it took me a full 3 hours to just backstitch that tree. And you know, it's not perfect, but it's, you know, pine trees are pretty forgiving. And there's some spaces in this background mountain area for beads and stuff. And I don't know, it's just kind of a mess. They're not where they're supposed to be. I don't think it will matter in the end. So I'm trying to just let it go, but this is where we're at. I did also put these back stitches in. They're supposed to be tree branches, but they look really funny to me. I might go back in and try to do them as actual back stitches. I get kind of lazy and I just do straight stitches. Or I might just take them out altogether. I don't know. They just don't, I think they're supposed to be branches. And they just look like random. And I don't know, I hesitate to put in the back stitches because those are going to be a lot harder to pull out if I don't like them because they're going over the top of other stitches. So I'm not sure yet. I might just take them out and leave them out. So we'll see. But my goal on this one for the year is 30 hours. And I have worked on this already 4 times. So I think I have about 12 and a half hours done on this for the year so far out of the 30. So this is fun. I keep showing it to you because I love that tree and I love how it turned out. But yeah, like I said, you can still get this pattern, which I didn't know about until last night when I started looking for another pattern by them. But you can still get this one. So that's really great to know. And they're not astronomically priced. I mean, they're priced what they should be, right? So they're not necessarily like secondary market or anything like that. So that covered 2 prompts for Stitch the Winter Olympics, and 2 for the acrostic, so M and the theme. Okay, next up, let's talk about this one. So I am participating with Sunshine Stitchers and the 614 Stitcher Candy in Designer Focus of the month. So each month we focus on a designer. This month, the designer is Hands-On Designs. So I decided I would start this piece called Seeds of Friendship. This piece is not really available. This is the basket. This is not available. This was a exclusive chart for an Acorns and Threads retreat that we had, virtual retreat that we had in October. It may come out, a year after that, but right now it was just exclusive to that retreat. I love this. I think it's so darling, and so I wanted to stitch on that. So I thought that was a really good thing to start this month. My problem, and I'll show it to you. So I spent most of my stitching time, because I'm not the smartest person. So you can see this fabric. If you hold it closer, you can see I divided it into 6 squares. You can kind of see the sparkly fabric or floss that I used. It's like a sulky floss. The color is almost exactly the same. In real life, you can see it. I don't know why I did that instead of just cutting them apart, which would have taken me hardly any time. It took me like 2 hours just to split the fabric. And then I started stitching on it, and I realized, so the first block ends right here where my finger is. And you can see it's kind of off center. This is supposed to be the center. So I'm going to have to rip it out and move it over. But then I realized, you know what? I struggled so much with seeing this. This is 36 count. My eyes just can't see it. And I could tell, this is like literally like 70 minutes of stitching, and that's all I got done. And afterwards, my head hurt, and I could tell that I was straining my eyes. This is a beautiful fabric. It's like an Aztec, I think it's called Aztec Red or something like that. This came in the kit for us. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take these stitches out, and I did find that they do sell the same color in 32 count. So I'm going to switch to 32 count. It'll kind of change all the measurements, but I'm going to enjoy it a lot more. I haven't bought the 32 count yet because I also have Scary Apothecary by Hands-On Designs, which I think I'm going to go ahead, and I think I have most of what I need here at the house to go ahead and start that. So I'm going to switch my project for my designer focus for this month, and I'm going to kind of put Seeds of Friendship away for now until I get that other fabric, and then I can restart it. I just have to calculate the size of the fabric I need because it's going to be different because I'm using a bigger fabric. So I might need a little bit different size linen. But it's going to be a great piece, but that was kind of a flop. Now, this one was stitched with a color from the Olympic rings. And so I stitched on blue and red, and I think a little bit of yellow and green. Is green in there? So I stitched a lot of the colors of the Olympic rings. So that's why I picked this piece. But it's kind of a flop for me, but good to know about myself. My eyes it's just not enjoyable for me to stitch on the 36 count, which I wouldn't think there would be that much of a difference between 32, which I'm really comfortable with 32. I find that Picture This plus 32 is a little bit too much for me, but 32 versus 36, that's only 4 more holes per inch, but man, it makes a big difference on my eyes. Okay, so the next one was stitch on something with an animal. So look at this beautiful Garon bag. And then the inside, those, I love it. This is a huge one. I really need to cut this one down to size. But this is, I worked on my Hade. This is Cardinal Cottage, artwork by Donna Gelsinger. This is what it will look like. And of course, I'm up in this area where it really doesn't look like much of anything right now. Let me pull this out. And I'm just doing this on 18 count Aida. 1 stitch over with 2 threads with over 1 stitch. And so this is where I'm at. Like I said, it doesn't really look like anything. I filled in like a lot of the purples and that type of thing I filled in there. I worked my way down a little bit. I'm using Pattern Keepers, so I just kind of go wherever. And I'm trying to go back in and kind of complete. You can see there's some missing colors in there yet. So I'll go back in and complete those. I'm just trying to work on this once a month, 1 stitching session, so 3 hours a month. And so I was able to do that. And I was able to fit in with the Stitch to the Olympics. So hopefully we'll start to see it look like something. I mean, I'm like 0.2% of the way done with this piece. This is my biggest piece, I think. I think this is my largest. I mean, this is bigger than any of the other Hades I have. So that's fun, though. But it's fun, and I think it will be gorgeous once it's done, as long as I don't majorly mess up again and have to start over. And I really do. This fabric is way too big. I have to cut it down. I have to just take an hour because I have like 4 different fabrics I need to cut down to size. So they're a little bit easier to handle. Okay, next up, I showed you the basket. Aztec Red by Weeks Dye Works is the fabric of the basket that I'm going to have to move to a 32 count. Okay, the next prompt was stitch something that is part of a series. Well, I have a lot of those. But I decided I would pull out glitter houses. So I am on house number 3, which I think is this one, yes. So that will, that's what it will look like. And I got quite far on this. This is on a 32 count silver natural. And I think this is the called for. So this is what it looks like. Isn't that cute? And so once I finish number 3, which I think I can do this year, I will be moving down to the next row because there's only 9 in this one, which is kind of nice that there's not 12. So you can see I did a lot of white. I did this top border. I did this outline. We're starting to get in the house. I don't know if you can really see it on here, but there are back stitches on the tree to signify like the needles. It's not really showing up on there, but I did do those as well. And so that was, and then I did some of these little snowflakes, I think. So I still have to carry the fence has to come over. There's a border down here and then the house, but we're getting there. My goal on this one, I think, is 15 hours for the year, and I think I've done like 9 hours so far. So a couple more stitching sessions, and hopefully we'll have number 3 done. I might just do extra just to get number 3 done, and then that one will be put away for the year, and we'll focus on some other things. But that's one's fun, and I'll tell you, I worked on, first of all, the 36 count one night, and then the very next night I worked on this. And you know I kind of struggle with this fabric too because it's opalescent. It was so easy for my eyes to work on after the 36 count. It's so funny. I know some people love, I know Teal is working on 40 count. Jan is working on 56 count. I know a lot of you can do those higher counts. My eyes are like, nope, we're not going to do this. Okay. The next thing that I worked on, the next project that I worked on, oh, it's right here. Okay, the prompt was something related to nature, which I thought about using Christmas dinner for, but I pulled out this Cottage Garden Samplings, the Fox, which hashtag Foxy Friends Friday. Jan and I are working on this together, and a lot of you are joining us. This is one of the massive pieces that I need to cut down. This is 32 count vintage country mocha, and you can see how far I got. So I finished up the A-frame. The A-frame is all filled in. I did this tree up here, and I did a bunch of these snowflakes around here. And I'm using mostly the called for. I did change. It calls for chalk for the white, and I'm just using DMC 3865, which I like. It's easy, available, so I like it. So I'm kind of skirting around the fox here. The fox face is like right here, and I'm kind of going to work my way around it, but I love it. Like that A-frame, I would never put these colors together. I love how that turned out. So this is really, really fun, and a lot of you gave me your advice and comments. You know, there's a big discussion over, you know, on the website it says if you're stitching this on one piece of fabric, leave this first position open for number 12 because they're supposed to all fit together, and I assume that means the background is going to be similar because 1 and 2, the fox and the swans, their background is very similar, but I'm not doing that. I'm starting it at the beginning because to me this is January. So that was fun to pull out again because that was a new start this year. And with new starts, you know, I don't always get a lot of project progress done on them in the year because they aren't on my goals, right? And so I have so many other goals to complete. All right, and then we already showed you the pair of designers, which was last night with Christmas dinner. And last night I worked on that backstitch tree. So those are my whips of the week that I worked on. That was a lot of stitching, but it was overall very good. And it's been really fun to do this Stitch the Winter Olympics. All right, let's move on to haul. Got some haul. Because of course I do. Let me Hold on, I'll be right back. Something fell on the ground. All right. That goes to that. Okay. So first up, I got some needle minders just from one of the Stash Unload pages. Oh, I don't have her card here. No. Dang it. She's on one of the Stash Unload pages, and I will try to find it and show it to you next week. But there was a sale, so these were very inexpensive. So I got 5 of them, and they were like $5 for $10 or something. So I thought she was cute. I love daisies. Daisies are my favorite flower, so I thought that was cute for spring. Cute pumpkin. Look at this cute little snowman. And then this fun little guy. I just thought he was fun and cute, and he needed a home with me. So I got those needle minders. And then I got Florentina from Mirabillia. This is a Nora Corbett. Love her. Look at the cat down here. She just felt very spring-like to me. And I was thinking, this feels like a birthday start to me. I'm not going to start her this year, I don't think. But this, like in the future, this feels like a birthday start. I already have 2 Miras, and I'm not making much progress on them for whatever reason. So I need to up my game on that. That was from 123 Stitch. My April 2022 issue of Just Cross Stitch magazine came in. You can see I have something flagged. I'm going to film a flip through of this right after I film this video. So you can look forward to that. That will be out either later today or tomorrow. So that came in the mail. I got my second stocking ornament of the month club, the 2 turtle doves. Isn't that darling? And it comes with the fabric. The first stocking had all the floss and everything in it. But I think that's so cute. So that came in the mail. And then I had placed an order with Garon. I just saw this on their website. This is a Bella Filipina. I don't have any Bella Filipinas. And this is called the Star of Christmas. Look at her. Isn't she gorgeous? And look how it's packaged. Like I was going to open it up and look at the chart and everything, but I don't want to break the seal. But isn't that gorgeous? I just think she's so pretty. And then I got the bead. There's a bead pack in Krynic that I got to go along with it as well. No plans to start that, but she's gorgeous. Okay, and then I got a bag. This was shown a couple weeks ago on Just Keep Stitching. Steph and Pam. Gamma's Treasures, Dawn, she's out of Canada, has really pretty project bags as well. She has the vinyl front, and then they come with a mat. But this one Steph showed, and I just ran immediately and got it. Look at those. Aren't these... I love everything about this. I love the colors. I love the flowers in the balloons. It's even... She showed it, and I was like, oh, that's pretty. I'm going to go see if there's any more left. It said there was one left. I don't know if there was more. But I grabbed it. But then it came, and I just love it even more in person. So that is from Gamma's Treasures. I'll link Gamma Dawn. I'll link her down below. As well. And then I went to Acorns and Threads, and I had a few things to pick up that were on order, which I got. Some of it was like more Annie's Keepers and that type of thing, so I'm not going to necessarily show that. But I wanted to show. So one of the things that I got that was on order, and this is totally Jan's fault, is Ink Circles After the Roses. I just love those colors so much. This is Classic Color Works it calls for. Those colors are just stunning to me. This is 141 stitches square. And then this little pillow, which I think is also beautiful, is 51 by 51 square. Not sure when I'm going to start that, but I loved that. I was basically called him up and said, can I have Jan Hicks's recent order, please? And then when I was in the shop, they have a coupon book. I don't know if they have any more. They're probably sold out by now, but get on Acorns and Threads newsletter, and you will be updated when their coupon books, they usually come out in November, and you get a different coupon. You can use it once every month. And February's coupon was 20% off all threads. So I kitted up, or mostly kitted up, like 4 different big projects I have coming up. So that was a great savings. But then, of course, you can't just go into Acorns and Threads and just get like some thread. So I saw this lavender and lace called The Spirit of Christmas. I love it. So I grabbed that. I think he's beautiful. And then I don't know why I don't have any of these, which is shocking to me. This is Jardin Privé sampler of cats. It was this one, and then there was another one, another cat one by Jardin Privé, and I was like, I don't know which one to get. So I got this one, and I'm like, I'm probably going to get the other one eventually, but I just thought this was really, really darling and cute. So I picked that up as well. All right. Okay, so that's my haul. I think that's everything. Looking around. Yes, that's everything. Okay, plants. All right, so our plans. So like I said, I will be filming flip through of the April 2022 Just Cross Stitch magazine. So I'll do that right after I get a little more coffee and some water. I'll film that for you today, so you can look forward to that coming out this weekend. Next weekend, I will be filming a Nashville Market Shop With Me video. So you can look forward to that. What we're going to do, I will still do my regular Flosstube as well, but what we're going to do is we're going to sit down. You're going to have your pen and paper ready to write down things. I'm going to use the Garon site. We're going to go through the Garon site and we're going to shop together. I'll have my notepad out as well. I've kind of quickly glanced through them, but I haven't really made a list at all. So we will come up with our list of goodies that we're going to buy. So it'll be like an overview of what's available in Nashville Market. And then I'm doing it next weekend, probably on Saturday, because orders through Garon or pre-orders are due to them by the 25th of February. And I can't remember if that's the following Friday or Saturday. But I'll go over all of that next week with you, but we're going to use the Garon site again this year. I did this last year and it was so much fun. It is a long video. So, it's one of those settle in, get your stitching, but you also want to be paying attention in case there's something good that you want and need to jot down in your notebook as well. But, so that'll be really fun. I'm really looking forward to that and to go shopping with you and to hear what you're going to pick up from, the Nashville Needlework Market next week. So you can look forward to that. And then I'm going to continue working on Stitch the Olympics. So I actually pulled stuff to show you this week. Sometimes I haven't been doing that lately, but I did this week. So today is stitch something with 2 or 4 people. Now, I didn't know if it meant actually something you're stitching on with actual people or if it meant something with people in it. I didn't really have anything, so the best I came up with, this is my own interpretation, so I'm going to stitch Happy New Year, work on Happy New Year, because they have people. Now, there's more than 4, so there's 5 and 5, so there's 10. So it's I guess we could divide 5 into 2. Well, I guess there's some people too, so that's 12. We'll divide it. It'll divide. 12 divided by 2 is 6, so we'll call it good. Anyway, I'm going to work on this one tonight for something with 2 or 4 people, because there's at least 2 or 4 people in there. And just a reminder, this is a smoky gray pearl, something like that. Fabric, I didn't write down the fabric, but I'll tell you next week what it is. And this is where I'm at. This is my New Year's start this year, and so that first motif is almost done. I have some fireworks to do. Which maybe I'll work on tonight, and then we'll go from there. But yeah, that's fun. That's my Victoria sampler. It's my first Victoria sampler that I'm working on, so that will be fun. And then, so the other pieces that are coming up, stitch on something related to Halloween or fall or something like that. So I'm going to pull out Halloween at Acorn Hollow, which looks like this. I am on block 3 right here. My goal is to finish block 3 and block 4 this year. This is also on my Whip Go board 4 times this year. It came out in January and it was called again for February. So I'm double dipping here, and I'm going to work on Halloween at Acorn Hollow for both of those. And this is on a 32 count Vanilla Latte by Be Stitch Me. And let's take a look where we are at. Sorry, this piece is going to be big too. So, oops, can't see the whole thing. There we go. So that's where I'm at. Can you see that? Well, I'm having some trouble with this one. Okay, so that's where I'm at. So I'm just going to keep working on this one. I want to finish. Oh, yeah. So I don't have to finish this one this month necessarily, but this will come out because I don't think I've worked on it at all this month yet. And I want to get 12 hours for WIPCO, and it's going to be twice actually this week, I think, for Stitch the Winter Olympics. So it's for skeleton, and then it's also for something with words. So this one has words on it as well. So that will get a couple evenings worth of work this week, which will be fun. I don't know what I'm going to do when I finish all these Acorn Hollows. I mean, they're the epitome of, like, you know how you have stitching projects that are just comforting and easy, and they're that. Sometimes I get burnt out on them because of that, I think, but I think also it's like after the basket and the opalescent fabric and all of that, and struggling a bit with Christmas dinner, with being off somewhere, it's just nice to go back to like your tried and true friend. Okay, so next I will be working on Autumn Quakers. This is a your choice. So I'm going to work on Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. This is what it will look like. More stuff fell. My goal on this one for the year is to finish it, and I'm going to do it in 12-hour chunks each month, so I'm giving it a 12-hour rotation every month. I have worked on this quite a bit already this month. I have one more evening, so 3 more hours to work on it, and then I can put it away for this month anyway. So this is where we're at. So I will probably be working over here in this area and kind of starting my way down on page 3. This is the edge of the chart, so it'll go as far as that, and then I'll start working my way down. But yeah, that's where we're at. Making good progress. It's so beautiful. I am using the called for Valdani threads on this one, so it's beautiful. So we will get that in, and then okay, so stitch something with a border. I am doing Autumn at Acorn Hollow, which I did show you already. It's now buried. The one with the horses and the checkerboard. So we're going to try, we want to finish that block this month. So we need to fit a lot of stitching in because there's still a lot left to do on that one. So something with a border. Now, this is probably not what they had in mind, but the border is the most simplistic border you can think of. It's literally one stitch in like 3371 around. But it's a border, and it's something I need to get done this month. So stitch with the border will be Autumn at Acorn Hollow. Stitch something with a house or building will be Autumn at Acorn Hollow. There's a big barn in that one, or a big house in that one. Something with words, again, Halloween at Acorn Hollow. And then something with flowers or a floral theme. This is from Ultimate Cross Stitch Cats and Dogs from 2019. And this is called Warm Welcome by Joanne Aston. I think it's beautiful. I'm just up in here, and this is also on my acrostic for this month, for the U and Yummy for UGG, because I have messed up somewhere and I don't know where, and I'm kind of like frogging and trying to figure it out as I go. So I had a lot of this done, and now I'm frogging a lot of it. So it doesn't look like much at all because I got to get what's figured out and move past it. I think where I messed up was somewhere here in the sky. And I'm actually so close to just ripping it all out and starting over again, but not quite there yet. So I kind of like dread working on this one, honestly, but I want to tackle it. I want to get it back on track. So that's something with flowers or a floral motif. So that will come out this week as well. And those are my plans for this week. So it'll be another busy, stitchy week. In personal work life, I think we're just moving forward with classes. So we're just kind of same old with classes moving forward. And yeah, nothing too big on the docket for this coming week. I hope you all have a wonderful stitchy week this coming week. And I look forward to shopping with you next week on the Garon Stitchery page. And yeah, we'll have a lot of fun. So take care, everyone. Have a wonderful week. I'll see you next week. Bye.